The contraction hit like lightning, and I gripped the hospital bed rails until my knuckles went white. The nurse, Rebecca, according to her badge, checked her notes with a frown that made my heart skip. "I'm trying to reach your emergency contacts," she said carefully. "But your mother said the whole family is at your brother's graduation ceremony." "What?" I gasped between waves of pain. "But I called them hours ago." Rebecca's eyes softened with the kind of pity I'd later recognize in every medical professional who heard this story. "She said you'd understand. That it's Connor's big day. Connor's big day. My baby brother graduating from college while I was graduating from pregnancy to motherhood. Alone." "Your father?" Rebecca asked hopefully. "Same ceremony." I managed through gritted teeth. "The baby's father?" "Deployed. Afghanistan." At least James had an excuse. A real one. "Anyone else?" "Friends. Other family." Another contraction stole my breath. When I could speak again, I said what I'd been too proud to admit. "They're all at the graduation. Mom made it a family event. Rented a party bus." "A party bus?" While I was trying to push their first grandchild into the world. Rebecca squeezed my hand. "I'm not going anywhere, honey. My shift ends in 2 hours, but I'm not leaving you alone." That small kindness broke something in me. A stranger, a nurse who'd known me for all of 30 minutes, was showing more care than my own mother. The hours blurred together in a haze of pain and pushing, and Rebecca's steady voice coaching me through each contraction. She held my hand when I cried, fed me ice chips, became my advocate when the doctor suggested waiting for family to arrive. "There is no family coming," Rebecca said firmly. "She needs support now." 14 hours. That's how long it took to bring my daughter into the world. 14 hours of labor, with a rotating cast of medical professionals who each heard my story with varying degrees of disbelief. "They're at a graduation?" Dr. Martinez asked during hour 8. "Connor's the first to graduate college," I explained between pushes, still making excuses for them. "It's a big deal." "Bigger than this?" She gestured to my very pregnant belly. I didn't have an answer that didn't sound pathetic. When Amelia finally arrived, 7 pounds, 2 ounces of perfection, it was 3:47 a.m. Connor's graduation had been at 2 p.m. the previous day. The party would be over by now. They'd had 13 hours to make the 2-hour drive. No one came. I held my daughter, counting her tiny fingers and toes, and made the first of many decisions I'd make alone. Her name. Amelia Rebecca, after the nurse who stayed 6 hours past her shift because she couldn't bear to leave me alone. "It's beautiful," Rebecca said, tears in her eyes as she helped me fill out the birth certificate. "She's beautiful." My phone had been silent for hours. I checked it while Amelia slept. 23 photos from Connor's graduation in the family group chat. Mom posing with Connor in his cap and gown. Dad making a toast at the restaurant. Aunts and uncles and cousins, all smiling, all celebrating. The last message was from Mom, sent at midnight. "Hope everything went well. Can't wait to meet the baby. Send pics. Send pics." Like I'd gone to a concert instead of giving birth alone. I didn't respond. Instead, I did something else. I opened my laptop, the one I'd brought to work on freelance projects during early labor, and started typing. First, an email to my landlord. My lease was month to month, and I was done with this city. Done being within driving distance of people who couldn't drive to me when it mattered. Second, an email to my boss. I'd been offered a remote position with a sister company in Oregon. Better pay, better benefits, and 2,000 miles between me and my family. I'd turned it down before because Mom had cried about me taking the baby so far away. I accepted it now. Third, a message to James's mother in Texas. She'd been begging me to move closer, promising support and help with the baby. I'd hesitated, not wanting to leave my family. "What family?" "I'm coming," I typed. "Amelia and I need a fresh start." By the time morning came, I'd reorganized my entire life from a hospital bed. Movers scheduled. Flights booked. Future rewritten. That's when they finally showed up. Mom burst through the door at 9 a.m., flower arrangement in hand, Connor trailing behind looking hungover. "Where's my grandbaby?" she cooed, reaching for Amelia. I held my daughter tighter. "Where were you?" "Oh, honey, you know how these things go. Connor only graduates once." And the ceremony ran long. Then we had reservations. I was in labor for 14 hours. "Well, yes, but first babies take forever. We figured we had time." "You figured wrong." Connor hadn't even looked at Amelia yet. He was scrolling through his phone, probably posting more graduation selfies. Don't be dramatic, Victoria, Dad said, finally appearing with coffee. We're here now. No, I said quietly. You're not. You're just visiting. There's a difference. What's that supposed to mean? Mom's voice took on that edge I knew too well. The one that meant I was being difficult, ungrateful, not understanding the bigger picture. It means Amelia and I are moving to Texas next week. The silence was deafening. Even Connor looked up from his phone. Texas? Mom shrieked. You can't take my grandbaby to Texas. Your grandbaby? I laughed, but it was hollow. You couldn't even show up for her birth. You sent the nurse to tell me you'd be busy. Do you know how that felt? To hear the family's at your brother's graduation, while I was screaming in pain. Connor worked hard for that degree. And I worked hard to push a human being out of my body. Alone. Rebecca the nurse held my hand because my mother was too busy taking Instagram photos. That's not fair. Fair. I was done whispering, done protecting everyone else's feelings. Fair would have been one person, just one, choosing me over Connor's photo ops. Fair would have been my mother being here when I was terrified and in pain. Fair would have been feeling like I mattered half as much as his sociology degree. Connor finally spoke. It's not just a sociology degree. I graduated magna cum laude. I stared at him. Then I laughed. Really laughed, until tears streamed down my face. Congratulations, Connor. I graduated too. From giving a shit about any of you. Dad stepped forward. Victoria, you're being hormonal. Get out. What? Get out. All of you. You made your choice, and it wasn't me. It wasn't Amelia. So leave. You can't just, Mom started. I can. I did. I labored alone. I pushed alone. I named her alone. I signed every paper alone. I can certainly recover alone. Rebecca appeared in the doorway like a guardian angel. Everything okay in here? My family was just leaving, I said firmly. She looked between us, read the room perfectly, and stepped aside. I'll be right outside if you need anything, Victoria. My family left in a flutter of indignation and protests. Mom crying about missing moments. Dad muttering about ungrateful daughters. Connor complaining about the drive being for nothing. They were gone within 10 minutes, taking their grocery store flowers and their wounded pride with them. Rebecca came back in, took one look at my face, and wordlessly handed me tissues. You did the right thing, she said softly. Did I? She sat on the edge of my bed, careful not to jostle Amelia. Can I tell you something? In 20 years of labor and delivery, I've seen a lot of families. The ones who show up for the hard parts? Those are the ones worth keeping. The ones who only come for the photo ops? Well, she didn't need to finish. James's mother, Sharon, flew in the next day. She took one look at us and burst into tears. I'm so sorry, she said, holding me like I was her own daughter. James is beside himself. He wanted to be here so badly. He has an excuse, I said. He's serving our country. They were serving Instagram. Sharon stayed for 3 days, helping me pack, holding Amelia while I showered, being the mother I'd needed all along. She never once mentioned missing anything else to be there. Because to her, nothing else was more important. The family group chat exploded when I posted the moving announcement. Not a birth announcement. They'd had to piece together Amelia's arrival from my silence. Just a simple Amelia and I are starting fresh in Texas. Wish us well. The messages ranged from guilt trips to anger to Connor asking if I could still help with his student loans. I left the group chat. Changed my number. Started over. 6 months later, Mom sent a letter to Sharon's address. It was full of grievances about missing Amelia's firsts, about how cruel I was being, about family sticking together. I sent back a single photo, Amelia at her first swim class, surrounded by James's family who'd welcomed us with open arms. Sharon in the pool with us. James's sisters cheering from the sidelines. A real family, showing up for the small moments because they understood that's what made them big. I wrote 4 words on the back. Wish you were here? But I didn't. Not really. Because I'd learned something important in that delivery room, pushing alone while they celebrated Connor. Family isn't who shares your blood. It's who shows up when there's blood. And when Amelia asks about my side of the family someday, I'll tell her the truth. They existed. They just had somewhere more important to be. But we had each other. And that was more than enough. It was everything.